Another year of Madden means another year of trying to find the best archetype to upgrade for every single position. We're going to be going from quarterback all the way down to, I believe, long snapper. So if you end up enjoying this video, if it helps you out, maybe leave a like, subscribe for new, hit the bell notification as well, as we, of course, do a ton of franchise stuff on the channel. But without any further ado, we are going to start with Scrambler. In the past, I kind of skipped ahead of this, but the upgrades can get a little random. Like sometimes you'll get an upgrade that's like +5 block shed, +4 finesse, and then 2 upgrades later, you get nothing. So we are going to keep this almost unedited. I'm probably going to be yapping a bit, so if you don't want to hear that, just times the video by 2x. I don't know. Either way, we're going to start with Scrambler as the archetype. I have a feeling Improviser or Strong Arm, I suppose, is going to be the best. Now, the big challenge here is trying to remember which upgrades are which. Of course, I pretty should have showed you as well, but we did start off Taysom Hill with 85 throw power and 75 in pretty much everything else. Everything else besides speed, excel, agility, injury, stamina, toughness, I try to keep him at a good baseline. I think most quarterbacks should have at least 85 throw power, right? And most of them 75-ish in the accuracies. Speed, you know, there's some guys that are faster, some guys that are slower. 85 seems to be right around the middle. So this is what we're going to be doing for pretty much every position across the board. I think tight end, we might have to drop them a little bit, though. So keep that in mind. But so far, Scrambler upgrades, not looking great, but quarterback has been a little weird lately, and I also don't believe we have throw power, speed, or really that's it, 'cause I think acceleration and agility still exist, but I don't think we have throw power or speed in the game anymore. Just another year of just not having that. But maybe I'm wrong. I actually think it might be worse than previous years, because I don't think they have the off-season storyline anymore, so you can't even upgrade that kind of stuff through the off-season like you did last year, so they've actually taken away even more from us than we had. Of course, Taysom Hill looking like he's going to upgrade about 10 overalls. As you can see, we're, reaching our final upgrade here, and he started off as a, I believe, 64 overall. So there you go, 74 overall for Taysom Hill. Doing Scrambler, we will take a look at his raw ratings right now, which means deep accuracy definitely did not go up as high as the other ones. Medium and short, 84. Awareness, 82. 83, throwing the run. 75 play action. 86 under pressure, 83 break sack. Of course, nothing for the juke ability, which for Scrambler, I mean, I guess you just can't upgrade those ratings for a QB, because I highly doubt you're going to get it from anything else. Maybe Improviser. As far as the actual progression history goes, 53 upgrade points, medium and short, pretty much the exact same at 9, under pressure at 11. Definitely losing that throwing deep accuracy, but not a bad set of upgrades, I suppose. You got about 2 accuracy per upgrade. Maybe as we get to like the less, interesting positions, sort of O-line perhaps, we might just skip ahead. QB though, running back, I think those are kind of the positions that are kind of fun. Of course, we're going to be doing Improviser for this one. Once again, the hardest thing is just not having an ADHD moment and forgetting which one we're doing, because it is very easy. Like, they're all almost the exact same ratings. But Improviser for the last couple of Maddens has kind of been like the meta, if you will. It seems like you get most of your upgrades from that, and then in the past, it was kind of one of the best for throw power and speed upgrades, but that is long past. As you can see right now, on par for higher than 74 overall, if, we keep that +1, which we did not right there, going. Definitely not seeing much deep accuracy to my knowledge. I'll be good. It's +2 there, though. That is definitely a little different, of course. 3, all right. He's got a chance at 75. He's getting there. He might actually get it. I still think Field General. Ooh, Improviser. Improviser, Field General is probably going to be the top 2, even though I think in the beginning I might have said Strong Arm. I did mean Field General. No, 75 overall. So he is higher than Scrambler, but it's not to 76. Thought maybe you'd get to 76. But look at the upgrades. 54 points. So 1 point more than Scrambler, but he did get much more important ratings. 14 to short, 14 to mid, compared to the 2 9s he got for, short and mid. And then he did get +4 to deep, which, if I'm not mistaken, Scrambler didn't even get a single point. Also 10 to throw on the run. So definitely a better upgrade for Improviser. Automatically, Scrambler right now is dead last, and I just don't think that's going to change with the other 2. It is now time, which I'm not sure if the scheme fit matters. I don't think it does. I think that's just literally for XP. For Field General, which is actually what we start off the lowest at here, 62. So in theory, you would think it would go the highest, right? But we'll have to see. As, of course, Taysom Hill here looking pretty, you know, basic. See, I almost did it. And I apologize if I do. I'm only human, but I'm pretty damn sure old Iron Mind up here, you know, is gonna... I'll deal with it. You know, super challenging, obviously, right? But right now, Field General definitely falling behind a little bit here. Yeah, it is really falling behind. Field General might be the worst in the entire game, huh? I used to kind of go to Field General as, like, the one. And now it just seems really bad. Like, 62 right now, so what are we, like, on par for 10, maybe? We're on par for 10, but even then, I think he's going to get the least amount of points from this. Oh, that might boost him quite a bit, though. That's why I did 10, because it's just so random at times what you're going to get. Maybe Scrambler is still going to be worse. Let's take a look. 46. So you do, of course, get more in the deep accuracy, but you are losing some. Not really. I think Field General still beats Scrambler. I know it got worse overall upgrades, but you get the deep accuracy. You get the same medium and short. I can't remember the throw and the run, to be honest, and the under pressure, but I think you got more quality from Field General, whereas Scrambler gave you a little bit more of the crap that doesn't really matter, like awareness and play action. I think Scrambler is still dead last as it stands. And now for the final one for QB, we're going to be going with Strong Arm. Again, for some of the future ones, we aren't going to yap all the way through, but quarterback is like the number one, in my opinion, every year, where it's like, which is the meta? Which is the best one? It is, in my opinion, every single time the toughest one to find, because it changes the most, it seems, and it is the most random. Whereas, like, you know, last year into this year, it seems like speed rusher's still the best for, you know, pass rushers. Wide receiver still seems to be playmaker. We still have to test these, but still seems to be playmaker. Of course, for running back, it is going to be different because there isn't really a do-it-all, like a Field General on defense or a playmaker on receiver. It does seem like you're going to kind of want what you want, right? If you want a power back, you got to go power back stuff. But we'll see exactly how good it is, because you might not get your bang for your buck. We'll find out, obviously. But we probably will start simming ahead a little bit, and you might just see the end result. I don't want us all to be sitting here forever, because even just yapping about each one at the end is still going to take some time anyways, so that's about that. Let's take a look now at throwing of the strong. It is the most points, 55, so it goes up 1 from Improviser, and Improviser goes up 1 from Scrambler. Mid, very high. Not as high as Improviser, but very high. And then we look at short, only 5. So this is not a great upgrade, in my opinion. You're getting very good under pressure. You're getting some play action, some awareness, some break sack, but you're really not getting a whole lot. Improviser, absolutely, based on our testings at least, because maybe we got really unlucky here, I think Improviser is definitely better, without a doubt. You got the highest skill points in general upgrades, and then you get the more value, right? 14 mid, I believe, 14 short, and 4 deep for Improviser, if I'm remembering correctly, which beats this in, like, basically everything. So yeah, without a doubt, in my opinion, quarterback, based on what we've seen, you want to go Improviser. All right, we are now on to running back. There is 3 archetypes. Taysom, turn around, please. You're looking the wrong way. As you can see here, receiving back is our highest archetype. Again, we have pretty much 75 for everything. Maybe, you don't really need blocking for a running back. You don't really get those upgrades, so don't need to do that. I think we're going to start with receiving back, just because it is technically the most different between the other ones. This one should be an upgrade where you're seeing mainly catching ratings, right? So let's find out, because maybe this is going to be comparable to receiving to elusive back, where, as you can see, we're already getting some spin move, some juke move in there, that, you know, you'll lose a little bit in juke move and spin move, if that, as you can see, +3 to spin, but you get way better in the receiving. If that's the case, then obviously it's going to be better. I think power move is going to be, or the power running is going to be the big difference. I think receiving and elusive might be the exact same, but we'll see. Of course, this is a very important position, in my opinion, to look at. Wow. These upgrades are kind of insane, though. So we're gonna be yapping through this one. I think for tight end, O-line, we'll probably skip ahead, right? But this position, this is one I want to see all the way through, because again, some of these upgrades are a little different. Like, look at this, 1, 1, 1, 1. One of them we had 4 juke move. So those kind of upgrades are important to know. That maybe even 10 upgrades is enough. Maybe it needed to be 20. Either way, I believe Taysom started off as a 67 overall. Looking at his upgrades, very good juke move and spin move upgrades. Very good catching rating upgrades. Looking at the actual upgrades himself, though, 59 upgrades through 10 points. Change direction +1, 3 to medium route, 3 to catch and traffic, 3 to ball carrier vision, 5 to awareness, a massive 10 to spin move and juke move, short route of 9, 8 to release, 7 to catching. This could be the meta upgrade. This is actually a very good looking one. And because it's so comparable, we're going to go right to elusive back. I'm actually kind of dying to see the answer to this one. 3 to spin. Okay, yeah, it might be pretty beatable then. I kind of thought it was going to be unbeatable early, but I mean, that was a very nice upgrade to start this thing out. Should be paying attention to the overall upgrades, but I don't really care about overall too much. I care about significance, right? If a guy goes up 8 overalls, but the overalls are like mainly awareness and stuff like that, I don't really care. I care about stuff that's going to help me on the field. Maybe for rebuilds, I should care actually, but for the most part, you're going to see the best upgrades are going to be the best way to upgrade your player, right? You know, the overalls are going to go up with those upgrades. Taysom's looking pretty damn good as is, though, so I don't really see too much of an issue there. I will say, though, I'm thinking this is going to be kind of comparable. Like, you might get a little boost on spin and juke with elusive, but if that wasn't an anomaly, because we did see that 4 juke move in the receiving back upgrade, receiving back might be number 1. Maybe I'm out of the loop, but I always kind of thought elusive was the way to go. Let's take a look, though. Upgrades-wise, 45, so less for sure. Looking at the juke move, 14, spin move 13. So that is 4 and 3 better than receiving back. You get 1 to agility, which I don't think we got in receiving back. You get 3 to change direction, which is actually a pretty significant thing to note. 4 to awareness, 6 to ball carrier vision, 2 to break tackle only, and then 2 to carrying. Of course, break tackle, I don't think we got any for receiving back. So if you need break tackle, power back probably will be your best bet. But right now, elusive back, very comparable, especially if you got a guy that doesn't have good catching. You want that to upgrade a little bit. If you got an elusive back and you need some catching ratings, I think receiving back is definitely the way to go. But let's go to power back, see what that brings to the table. And here we are for the final one, 59 overall for power back, which, ironically enough, if you take base Taysom, is probably much higher than that on his own. 2 upgrades now where his overall did not change. Of course, I think that is just for the fact that his overall for power back is the lowest, so it needs to actually be higher than 67 to go up in overall. So yeah, kind of irrelevant to look at upgrade points, because again, we're not going to be able to make him perfectly even every time. You'd have to like change the player every time. It just takes way too long. Overall is maybe not the perfect video for you, but talent-wise, yeah, you're going to get a good idea of which archetype is the best. And for many years now, power back has been pretty lackluster. It has been basically only power moves in general, which, I mean, elusive is that way too for elusive, but you're not really getting that change of direction. You're not really getting, you know, the agility stuff very often. And in general, you're not really getting good upgrades. As you can see, we're getting a lot where we're not even getting a power move or, you know, a trucking, a stiff arm kind of stuff like that. Whereas the other ones, you pretty much always got at least +1 to both. So this is going to be pretty lackluster, I think. Let's take a look. It will be the best for break tackle, but I don't know. 7 trucking, 2 stiff arm through 10 upgrades. That is horrendous. It is so strange for me to see EA be so adamant that power running is so strong in the game, yet it hasn't been for many Maddens. Back when the truck stick was like quick flick and you instantly like ran through a guy, it's not really been like that. You know, juke moves and spin moves have been king in Madden for a while now. Speed in general, pretty damn good. You know, maybe Ultimate Team's different with the abilities like stiff arm abilities and truck abilities, but for the average franchise player, elusiveness is definitely the best. And I gotta say, power back is vastly disappointing. I mean, we could have been really unlucky there, but 10 upgrades, if you're that unlucky with 10 upgrades, then it's still, in general, worse than the others. Of course, in my opinion, receiving back kind of takes the cake. Again, depends on what you need. You need break tackle. Power back is your guy. It is your position, right? 14 upgrades of power back for a break tackle. But yeah, receiving back in general, if you had an elusive guy, probably your best bet. And now we move on to fullback. Now, our ratings are a little high here for a fullback, 75, but I still don't think that matters. As long as you're not reaching 99, it doesn't technically matter. As long as you got a little bit of a gap there, which obviously 75 is pretty far from 99, so we're going to upgrade from there. We're going to start with blocking, because I do have a feeling utility is going to be the best, so we're going to start with blocking because of that. 83 overall for bolt, so we actually will get an even baseline of which upgrade gets the most physical overall upgrades. And Yeah, this one's a little more of a boring one, so we're going to skip to the end on this. And after 10 upgrades, actually 10 full overall upgrades, pretty damn good. 68 overalls or upgrades for the 10 upgrade points, the best we have seen so far. Looking across, though, you got a bunch of that crap that I hate. Block finesse, block power. I just don't love that stuff. Didn't actually get any pass blocking, which, well, we got one literal pass block. I guess we did get finesse. We just didn't get much in the power blocking overall, right? 5 to run block power, no for pass block power, which for a fullback, I guess well, I don't know. I guess kind of random. But yeah, I mean, not bad, actually. 5 to trucking, 7 to short route. There's so much going on with this that I'm actually surprised. I thought this would have been what you would get when you do, like, utility, but no, you got a little bit of everything in this one. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Blocking might be the way to go, which, to be fair, even though I think you get more for utility, I think blocking is probably the way to go. I kind of want my guy to be good at blocking, even though we know for a fact fullbacks in Madden suck ass. They've been bad for so long. They're brain dead. They are literally brain dead, and I don't understand how they haven't fixed that. And yeah, never mind. Utility is the best. 87 upgrades. Some awareness, obviously. Catching plus 10. 15 impact block, 8 to medium route, 6 to release, 8 to short route, 5 to carrying, 2 to catching traffic, 5 to lead block, 5 to, bunch of different things. Stiff arm plus 2. You're getting a little bit more of the power, running from blocking. But yeah, I don't really think this compares too much. Overall, you're just getting way more upgrade points for utility. But at the same time, maybe not quality, as he got to 93 overall on both. Yeah, this one had a lot more upgrade points, so I don't know, kind of depends on what you want, but I still think utility is, in fact, the best. We now move on to wide receiver, where I think we all have a pretty good idea that Playmaker is going to be the best, but we will go on and see anyways. Go to physical first, as this is probably going to be the worst of the bunch. I mean, you'll probably get the best short route and release, but overall, I would definitely say that it'll probably go physical, slot, deep threat, Playmaker, if I had to guess. And the first upgrade, actually pretty good. Physical, 8 to catch in traffic, 9 to release, 8 to spec catch, 8 to catch itself, 1 to jump, 5 to medium route, 9 to short, 4 to awareness, 4 to stiff arm, 3 to break tackle, and a trucking. So actually not bad. I don't think it's, again, going to compare to Playmaker, but it might not be the worst after all. We're now on to the one I think is going to be the second worst, which is slot. Slot used to be the meta one, so that's why it is important. It's a hell of an upgrade right there. That's why it's important to keep up with these archetypes, because in the past, slot for corner and wide receiver were the number one. Of course, now Playmaker for wide receiver, and then corner is a little more debatable. We'll have to see in this video itself, but I'm still thinking man-to-man. But I have seen some pretty good upgrades from zone as well, so in general, it might just be up in the air what you need more. It might not really be a meta, whereas, again, Playmaker is likely going to be the meta, no matter what you need. And I gotta say, pretty good. Let's see. It might actually beat 60. And it does. 69. What a number. Release plus 5, so lower than physical for release. Believe it or not, actually lower for, physical's lower in catch. Is lower in catch and traffic. It's lower in medium route running. Is it lower in short? It's same at short. See, this just doesn't make sense. Like, you're getting the same, besides release, as physical for slot, but better, even in the catching ratings. Like, if physical isn't the best for catching, then what's even the point of it existing? Let's remove the archetype. Like, a physical receiver should be good off the line, strong at the point of attack for the catch, and yet it got beat by slot. We now move on to deep threat. So far, our predictions are correct, but we'll see. Deep threat might be maybe a little too mid when it comes to the short route running, that we don't call it number 2, call it number 3. And we have the results, 68 for deep route running. So, okay, interesting. Much more release, a 5 better release. 9 catching, which is actually a little lower than slot. Deep route, which is obviously massive compared to slot. It is 11 better. Spec catch at 8, which I don't even think I wrote down, because I don't even know if you even got much spec catch there. 7 to catch in traffic, which is 2 lower. Medium route, which is 3 lower. Juke move 2, spin move 2. So it depends. It depends on what you need. I do personally think short and medium route running is vastly more important than deep route running. So I would actually say slot is the second best upgrade, as while deep you get a little bit more release and deep route running in general is harder to get. I just don't think it's as important as short and medium route running. So I think slot does take the cake so far. Of course, I think that's going to change here in a moment with Playmaker. And for this one, we are going to yap through it just because Playmaker is so good. I want to see these upgrades as they fly by. Let's take a look. Already off to a pretty damn good start, and that's not the best I've ever seen. And there you go, a +2 on that upgrade. 3 to medium, 3 to release. I mean, it's just going to be hard to beat. Playmaker is pretty damn insane. I don't really know how you can beat it. It's tough. It's tough to beat. But who knows? Maybe it slows down here a little bit, and slot with the consistency just beats it. But as of right now, it's not looking promising there. Playmaker is just, I mean, these upgrades are insane. Even release upgrades. Getting some pretty good ones in there. Also do, again, hope I did not make a mistake. Look at the release upgrades, dude. It's crazy. Hopefully I didn't accidentally do an upgrade for some other position that did a different archetype. But yeah, as we expected, Playmaker is kind of running away with this one. Now, it's not actually upgrading the Playmaker ability archetype itself, which is even another reason to like him more, because you can keep getting more upgrades for longer. But in general, it's upgrading the entire player himself quite a bit, as he gets to an 80 overall, 13 overalls up, and I mean at this point there's really not much of a reason to look, but 119, blowing all of the other ones out of the water. It even has better trucking than physical, better release than physical. Its medium route running, I think, was the best. Its deep route running was close to the best. It had the best catching. It had the best catching traffic, I believe. The most juke move. Medium route. I mean, it's got it all. It beats it. It beats, like, every single archetype at its own archetype by, like, 10% or more. Again, as we expected, Playmaker is hands down, by far, the best upgrade for a wide receiver. We're now on to tight end, where maybe I should lower the overall, because apparently 75s and blocking stats is very rare for a tight end, so they're not going to give you much. But I think blocking is just such a bad archetype for tight ends anyways that it just doesn't matter. Like, it really just won't matter. We're just going to do it. We're going to roll it how it is. We're doing it live. Not really live, but you know what I mean. As I just don't think many people are going to do this. Maybe if you got one of those really insane tight ends already and you want some better blocking, but overall, I just think that obviously if you're developing the tight end from the ground up, you're going to need vertical threat or possession, which a lot of the times, I will admit, actually pretty kind of 50-50. So I'm actually a little curious to see what that looks like here in a moment. But yeah, Taysom Hill with the blocking upgrades, because he's already 87, nearing 99 overall here, which is actually kind of insane. Take a look at that 97 overall Taysom Hill here in a second. Of course, going to be basically all blocking, kind of hence the archetype itself. And then we finish with a weak one, sadly. Look at the upgrades, though. Yeah, I mean, 65 upgrades, a lot of upgrade points. 4 to catch a traffic, 6 to catch, 5 to break tackle. Again, everything is going to be blocking. So if you want pure blocking, yeah, blocking is going to be your number one, I imagine. We move on to possession, where I'm going to be honest with you. If I had to put money on it, I kind of feel possession might win it. I really do. I think possession is going to get you a lot of what vertical threat does, but it's going to also get you stuff that vertical threat won't. As we can see, a really big upgrade there to trucking might already be enough to call this thing as vertical threat. You don't always get a lot of trucking. We'll see, though. Obviously, this is going to be probably the closest one in the entire video. I really think so. I think besides cornerback with man and zone, possession versus vertical threat for the tight end is going to be the closest archetype we see. All right, let's take a look at possession, see how we're at. So 90 upgrade points, mind you. Got a little bit of the blocking as well that the blocking archetype itself got. It's going to be one that I'm going to absolutely have to jot down here, because there's a lot going on here. 7 to catch traffic, 12 to short. Big one, though. 4 to juke move. Where's the trucking again? +2. See, that's why I want to do 10 upgrades plus, because we got a single upgrade for trucking, which was that +2. So there is going to be some variations. In general, most of the ones you're going to get an idea of what is best. Like improviser, I'm pretty confident is the best. Receiving back and elusive are the most upgrades you're going to get over power back, but obviously you need a power back, you do that. Fullback utility is the winner. Wide receiver playmaker is obviously the winner. And then, of course, for D-line, I'm pretty damn sure speed rusher is going to be the winner, no matter what your style really is. But yeah, this one, going to have to jot it all down because there's a lot of numbers. All right, moment of truth. We got our vertical threats in there. And for the upgrades, 99. So far, I'm thinking vertical threat did take the cake here. 6 to trucking, 8 to spec catch. 15 release, 2 to change direction, 11 catching traffic, 11 to catching, deep route of 8, which I don't even know if we even had a deep route for possession. Short route plus 9, which is barely lower than the possession. 8 medium, which is the same. Break tackle 1. So the big thing you're seeing here is more release, more break tackle stuff, but pretty much similar in all the other ratings. So yes, I kind of expected it, but I kind of went with possession because we've seen some stuff last year. But yeah, vertical threat was the best archetype. On to another one that's kind of polarizing because you don't really get what you want most of the time, in my opinion. You get a little bit of power, you get a little finesse, but if I want my guy to be a run blocker, how do I do that? Because there's pass protector, but there's not really run block. It seems like power block is the way, but even then, it's still not finesse blocking. Either way, I'm going to start with pass protector as I do believe that is the worst one. We are going to only do one for the linemen because all the linemen have the exact same archetypes. All right, first one is done. Pass pro, as we would have expected, is, in my opinion, going to be the worst. Really not a great set of upgrades. When you're thinking you're going only for one style, pass protecting, you're expecting a lot. 10 upgrades, and we don't even get 10 across the board. You get 8 for power, 8 for finesse, 4 for pass block, 3 for impact block, 4 for awareness. There's honestly not even a point for me even to write these down because it is just by far the most garbage. I don't care if you have 99 for run block on your guy. You still are probably better off going with run block power, kind of stuff. Right now we go with agile, which I think is going to be slightly worse in power, but again, it's probably going to be your preference. If you got a guy with good agile, you got a guy with good power, you're going to want to do the vice versa. Or in general, if you got a guy like a tackle, you're probably going to want to do finesse. If you got a guy that's a center or a guard, you're probably going to want to do power because you're going to be going against more power guys on the inside versus the faster finesse guys on the edge. But in general, we still are here to see which one is the best if you want the most bang for your buck because your guy is kind of even at both. And of course, with agile being completed, it's going to be more, but yeah, it's going to be much better than pass block power. Just look at the pass block in general. You get 12 base pass block, 12 base pass block finesse. So outside of the pass block power, it destroys pass protector on its own. And then, of course, that doesn't factor in the 11 run block and the 5 run block finesse. So it is still more pass block heavy, at least the upgrades we got. As, of course, we are going to see power be a little bit more on the run block side. But I still think they probably need to redo the offensive lineman archetypes in general. If I want a guy that, wanted to be a run blocker, why can't I just make him a run blocker? Why do they have to be pass block finesse, run block finesse, vice versa? I don't like that. But either way, agile, pretty good contendership. All right, looking at power blocking now. I gotta say, you get a little more for both sides, right? Like the base run block / base pass block, pretty even, 11 and 9. And then for the power blocking, 12 for run block power, 8 for run block, pass block power. But on the other side, it was a little bit better. Actually, you know what? It wasn't because it was 5 for run block finesse. So, realistically here, you might get a higher overall from agile because we got a little bit more awareness there. But you get a little more lead here. Acceleration is about the same. Probably just randomized at that point. But I think based on the regular blocking, which I'm not even sure how much that actually matters, I would say power does win slightly, but it is very close. Again, this is going to be one that's so close that it really just matters. Probably just doing one into the other, right? Do agile, then power to keep them balanced. Or if, again, you just need more agile, you need more power, just do it with that one. It's not like wide receiver where, I need a little more of this rating. I'm going to do this instead of playmaker. No, do playmaker. Stop being dumb, Of course, we are going with edge now. I don't know if we really need to do speed rusher and power rusher for DTs because I think it's the same, but we will end up doing that just to dot the T's and dot the I's. But we are going to start with what I would think is the worst for edge, which of course is run stopper. All right, run stopper, which we actually got a couple of finesse upgrades, which I didn't really expect. 5 to finesse, 6 to power. While I don't think this is going to be even remotely close to finesse, it is important to note, if You already got it, which I don't think, well, again, that doesn't really exist because Speed Rusher is just so busted. You get Block Shed too. So there's just nothing Run Stopper is going to do that is better than Speed Rusher. Maybe not even better than Power Rusher. All right, Power Rusher looking pretty promising. 16 to Power Move. Nothing to Block Shed. 2 to Finesse moves. I suppose if you care about Block Shed, and yeah, technically Run Stopper is significantly better, but yeah, if you are just trying to upgrade a guy, pure power move, it is better than Run Stopper. However, for this next upgrade, I think, yeah, Speed Rusher is going to be pretty insane. Let's get those Speed Rushers in. This is going to be kind of insane, I imagine. Let's take a look. 2 to Finesse, 2 to Block Shed. It begins already. It begins already. And you got to remember, with upgrading for a rookie, it seems, wow, it's insane. For a rookie, it seems like it's even more crazy at times. So if Taysom was a rookie here, it would be ridiculous. Again, I don't know what is going on with this Speed Rusher thing. Maybe they just wanted more Speed Rushers in the game, and they figured, oh, let's just upgrade Speed Rusher in general. But yeah, it needs to be nerfed. It just needs to be nerfed. And the problem is, if you're actually using, you're playing the game, if you have Speed Rushers, you have no choice. The only thing you can really do is just remove the upgrades you get from Power Move and Block Shed. But even then, I still think even the Finesse upgrades themselves are probably too strong. But yeah, obviously, you just get too much for everything, and there's no counter to it. If you need a Finesse guy, you can't go Power Move. We just seen Power Rusher got like 4 Finesse. It was really bad. And then obviously Block Shed was, a little bit better, but about the same. You want to upgrade speed, Finesse, you got to go Speed Rusher. And if you do Speed Rusher, you're going to basically make your guy insane. You can see here, 88 Power Move, 91 Finesse, 89 Block Shed. Looking at the upgrade points themselves, 16 Finesse, 14 Block Shed, 13 Power Move. It was comparable to Power Rusher itself, yet it also has 16 Finesse moves, 14 Block Shed. Again, it's not even relatively close. It is even more busted, arguably, than Playmaker. All right, now onto the defensive tackle position. Again, I think Speed Rusher and Power Rusher is not going to matter in the future. If this one is confirmed that it's pretty much the same, we'll probably skip it and just test out nose tackle, see how good it is compared to what the Edge Speed Rusher was. But for the sake of consistency, we're going to do it all the way through. Power Rusher first, then nose tackles. I've heard some good things about nose tackle, obviously, especially for the overall. And then for the final one, obviously Speed Rusher, because it's busted. All right, Power Rusher, what do we got? 66 upgrades, 12 Power Move, 8 Block Shed. I mean, this is 9 Finesse. This is actually really good. Okay, so I'm glad we actually did this, because I do think, in my opinion, this is different, right? Unless it's just coincidence, I think this is different from the Edge Rusher. And it's pretty good. It's actually not bad. 12 Power Move, 8 Block Shed, 9 Finesse. How will that compare to the other ones, though, especially Speed Rush? We'll see. I'm not even going to bore you with this one. This one was hot ass. It was terrible. Never do nose tackle upgrades. And yeah, to no one's surprise, Finesse does win. But I will say Power was a lot closer than I would have thought. Still, even if you need power moves, unless you just don't care about block shedding, I would still go Speed Rusher. 9 power moves versus 12 for the power itself, and then 11 block shed versus 8 for Power Rusher. So again, you're just getting more bang for your buck with Finesse, and then of course, you're getting way more Finesse than you would have with the Power. So you're just getting a 10 to 20% boost just doing Finesse at pretty much everything, I think. I'm trying to think if there's anything standing out. I don't really think so. Maybe tackle? About the same in everything except the main 3, which of course matter the most: Finesse, Power, and Block Shed. Again, just like Edge, DT, Finesse, Speed Rusher. We now move on to linebacker. We're going to be doing Mike linebacker because the outside linebackers, they have pass coverage and run stopper, whereas Mike has pass coverage, run stopper, and field general. So we'll be able to tell right away if, in theory, because I think it's going to be another offensive lineman situation where if you need more run block, block shedding, go run stopper. You need more coverage, go coverage. Of course, if you're going Mike, though, most years field general is the best, so we'll have to test that out. But yeah, basically, whatever the best is for Mike between pass coverage and run stopper is going to be the best for Sam and Will. But we're going to start with run stopper first because I personally think coverage means a little bit more for a linebacker. Personally, I feel like no matter what your block shed is, you're going to probably struggle running into an offensive lineman anyways. It's all about the speed. It's about the play, the coverage, getting out there. Block shed I just don't think is as valuable, in my opinion, as coverage. So that's why we're doing this one first. All right, the first look at linebacker, run stopper. 48 upgrades, not bad. 9 block shed, nothing for coverage outside of a singular man coverage upgrade. 13 to tackle, 11 to play rec, 5 to awareness, 3 to hit power, which I think should be a little higher than that, 3 to pursuit, 2 to finesse, 10 agility, 1 to man. So you got to remember, 10 upgrade points, that is like the max outside of a rookie going ham that you're probably going to get in a normal season. And honestly, if it's not a rookie or someone really young, you're probably going to be half that at most. So, of course, it's going to take a while to develop if, some of these upgrades are what you're getting for an older linebacker. All right, we are on to the coverage side of things. And, kind of as expected, you're getting a different side of things, right? You're getting the coverage. 9 to man, 9 to zone. Obviously, a lot better than the run stopper. You got 1 man in the entire run stopper. But here, you don't even get a block shed. So you technically win on the other side. Play rec, 1 more for the run stopper. As far as awareness, only 2, which you got 5 on the other side. Tackle of 8 here, which is actually pretty damn good, but still 13 for run stopper. Pursuit of 6 here, where you got 3 on the other side. I mean, again, this is really just going to be a preference thing. You're not getting one that's meta between, pass block or pass coverage and run stopping, at least for the outside linebackers. But now we're moving on to field general, which I have a feeling will be, in theory, meta. And here is field general, which, of course, as you would expect, is a bit of both worlds, right? 6 to block shed, 8 to zone coverage, 4 to man coverage, 4 to pursuit, 1 to excel, 11 to play rec, 8 to awareness, 8 to tackle. So you're pretty much getting the tackle awareness, pursuit-ish, and play rec of, the both of those. And then you're getting the man coverage, a boost on run support, lower than coverage, but you're getting the boost of block shed, higher than coverage, lower than run stop, and then, of course, zone coverage, pretty damn comparable to the actual pass coverage itself. So not by much, but again, a better way to keep your guy even, and in general, you are getting, again, probably about a 10% boost overall compared to just doing like 2 run stop, 2 coverage, but it's comparable-ish. We now move on to cornerback, where, again, I think man-to-man's going to win. Zone wouldn't shock me, and neither would slot. But if I had to make a guess, I think man-to-man's going to be slightly better than the rest. So with that being said, we're going to go zone first. So honestly, as I expected, I think zone is better than we were maybe anticipating. Pretty damn good, dude. 18 to zone, 10 to man coverage, a little bit of catching, some tackle, some press. Might even be the best, let alone the 3rd best. All right, for the man-to-man upgrades, yeah, I mean, of course, if you really need man coverage upgrades, you really want man coverage upgrades, I think man, especially with press, 16 press, massive, you want to go man. But honestly, if press doesn't matter too much to you, which it should, to be fair, zone might be better. I'm going to still say man is better because that press, 9 higher press, is insane. Where you look at the man and zone gains, yeah, you're losing a little bit here, right? You're getting 16 man, which is 2 less zone than the zone guy. You're getting 7 zone, which is 3 less zone. Well, 9, is it 11? Holy crap, it's 11 less zone than the other side. So basically, you're getting a +2 and +3, respectively, on the opposite side's thing. So, it got very confusing there, but you know what I mean, I think, right? Because this one is 2 less man than the other side's zone. This one is 3 less zone than the other guy's man. So there's that. And also, no catching. So interesting thought. If you need catching, maybe zone is the way to go. But if you really want press, you really like man, man-to-man is slightly better. I'll give it 5% better because press is a massive upgrade, man-to-man, comparatively. I'm sure none of you guys are confused after all this yet. Yo, wait a minute. We haven't seen a speed upgrade at all, I don't think. We got one with slot. I think slot automatically wins for corner. Unless it's just so rare and you get it anywhere. We got a speed upgrade on slot. Let me repeat. Of course, this one actually, yeah, slot seems to be the one, huh? Press, though, if you really need press, man-to-man's your way to go. Man-to-man in general, still really good. Press, it's your way to go for sure. But in general, it's hard to say slot isn't at least 2nd best because you're getting 14 to man, 12 to zone, which that comes out to 26 upgrade points, which is about the same as zone and man, but it is a little more balanced. And you got that speed upgrade. So again, I don't know if we can confirm speed upgrades only exist with slot, but of all the upgrades we've done, all these different positions, all these different archetypes, it's the only one that it did get. So with slot corners being traditionally a little slower than boundary guys, it would not surprise me to see them put speed upgrades in the slot role for either side of the ball. So if that is the case, then obviously slot wins, because speed upgrades is, I mean, it's rare and it is massive. But if not, I'd probably go man-to-man, slot, zone, but all three are great. This is the one archetype where I truly think you can't go wrong with any of the three. We're now on to the safety position, where I would hazard a guess hybrid's the best, zone's the second best, run support's the third best. I think run support will be so bad, though, that honestly, even if you really want block shed, it still won't be worth taking over the other ones. But with that being said, run support first. All right, we did run support. Let's take a look at what we're looking at. And yeah, 6 block shed for the one that's supposed to be so heavily run support style. Now, take it, you do get a little zone, you do get a little man coverage, but I am not even going to write this down because there's no point. It is just going to be the worst, simply put. And looking at zone coverage, well, you don't get the block shed, you do get a ridiculous amount of zone. 16 zone coverage, 4 to tackle, 6 to awareness, 1 to strength, 10 to pursuit, 9 to play rack, 2 to catching. It is less upgrades, but it is more significant upgrades. I gotta say, though, run support, if your guy is at least okay in coverage, actually might be better than zone. Now, if your guy sucks in zone, yeah, probably want to do zone. But if he's, in the 80s, I actually think run support might be better. I actually do. It's kind of crazy to think. So yeah, as expected, hybrid is insane. We went from a 74 overall to an 87 overall. We got 67 upgrades, but the big thing, 19 zone. So hybrid is better for zone than zone itself. Then you get the 9 to man coverage. Of course, you won't get the block shedding no matter what. So if you really want block shed, yeah, I guess run support is the best. 12 play rec, 8 pursuit, 13 tackle. You thought maybe hybrid or zone would be bad for tackle, but hybrid's insane for tackle. Then 4 awareness. Of course, hybrid, as I would have expected, is still by far the best for safety. Both safeties have the same archetype, so we are not going to even test strong safety. But yeah, that is actually pretty significant. And here we are for almost the final one. I don't know what long snapper is going to be like, if there even is an upgrade, because again, if for whatever reason, I'll show you right now, you look at long snapper, and it just says accurate and power. I don't know what that means. I don't know if you can upgrade long snappers or not. So this could be the last one. I'm not going to change between kicker or punter, because when you change kicker and punter, they're the exact same overall. There is no change. You can literally put a kicker at punter, punter at kicker, even though in real life that's not how it works. I don't know what's going to be better. I'm going to guess power, but we're about to find out right now. All right, accuracy. Did not get a single kick power, to my knowledge, if I'm remembering correctly here. So yeah, I'm going to go on a limb and say power is better. 13 to accuracy, 8 to awareness. Let's find out. Now, strangely enough, I don't even think we got a kick power upgrade from this either. However, I think it was still higher accuracy. 20 accuracy, 12 awareness. I don't know what the hell is happening here. But let's find out if there actually is anything to upgrade for long snapper or not. And I mean, it has an accurate description. It says specializing in accurate long snaps. And then the one says, in power, these are long snappers deliver the ball quickly. I don't really know what's going to happen here, but sure, why the hell not? Long snap +2, pass block +1. Did I just upgrade the wrong thing? Long snap +1. This just seems to be like the most minimalistic, stupid thing you can get, but we're going to see which one's better. It's a new position group. Why not? And for the accurate long snapper, he gets 13 to long snap, which again, I don't even know if it really matters. 6 to pass block, 8 to awareness, 6 to tackle, 4 to strength. And here it is, the final one. Power long snapper, which comparatively, we got 4 strength in the other one, so 3 here. We got 6 tackle in the other one. We get 10 here. Long snap itself, 9 here, 13 on the other side. 5 pass block here, 6 on the other side. Awareness was 8 on the other side, 11 here. I would argue the other one was better, right? I think accurate long snap is the best one of the bunch. Ironically enough, that's the one we're going to be sitting on here, though. If this helped you out at all, you found it entertaining in general, maybe you just left it on in the background to hear me yap while you're doing something else, appreciate y'all for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe if you're new. If you're not new, pretty sure continue supporting the channel. Let me turn Jeromepkr, second channel up here for some non-Madden content. I would be pretty surprised if you don't see something else on the channel later today, so check that out. And that is pretty much gonna be it for this one. Thanks for watching. If you have any other ideas you want to see, let me know in the comment section below. Hopefully come back for next video. But until next video,